All right, so I'm going back to the VPC. Cool. So guys, let me quickly start and create another like today fresh VPC again, because yesterday I cleaned out everything. And I'm selecting another option today, like with the public subnet and netting will between that and the private subnet is there. So guys, let me try to give you more understanding what exactly mean of which we are seeing on the window like picture. So if you see here, so what we are looking for, kind of, let's say all the users are available here on internet and they are hitting your website, which is abc.com. Okay. And that website is hosted in a cloud where you have like what we can say, like sorry. Okay. So you have here AWS services where DNS hosted and collecting information of your abc.com, like your website is pointing out. Okay. Now, whenever request will come, abc.com will send request to your network, and your network is carrying a part of VPC. Okay. Like let's say you have here the VPC. In VPC, you have created two subnets. One is private and one is your public. So let's say guys, this will be your public and this will be your private. So what is mean of it? You have here your DB and the app server and AD server, you can say, or any other critical server, which is part of the private subnet. And here you have a web server, right? And your front end server and like any other CRM server where the website is hosted. Okay. So these three are, we understand, public exposable because they are part of public subnet. So whenever guys request will come abc.com, my DNS will see and start sending the request here because it's already exposed and entry is mapped. So anyone can able to. But now how the data is coming from, because your DB is existing here into the private subnet. So guys, anything to show the user on your website, right? From here, this web server should be able to communicate with your DB. And as they both are totally different because they are public and private concept here, so they will not be able to talk by default. Even there is no internet connection, so they will not be able to reach here. So what you can do, you can add in between, that is called netting, right? I will add the net. So net will responsible guys to give access from here to here. It's a kind of bridge between your public and private subnet. So this will give you access where you can able to like see the thing, and that will going to be like the capture stuff. Okay. Now, otherwise, there are two types of word, like the kind of algorithms which the protocol we using. One is stateless APIs, stateless calls, or you can say the stateful. So stateless or stateful, guys, these are two will be exposing, actually showing this kind of similar diagram. There's not relation here, but it is kind of like just click in my mind because it's more often coming in interview for the process. So what exactly mean of this, that guys, like let's say your user is available, okay, and your database is available here in a private subnet, and here you have your app server, right? So what will happen here, guys, whenever user will request, cool, user is requesting to have the access with different like you can say there is a user, B user, C user. So there are multiple users are accessing your website, and they landing on directly on web server, like your app server. Now, what app server is carrying information, app server also having a connection, which is the private between your DB to app server going to connect. Now, but you will see the concept here. So this will be your the stateless. Okay, means here, stateful actually. So here, first time whenever request will be come from app to DB, DB will see, hey, AB user, A, B, C, D user, all are available and authorized. Yes. This will give yes, and it will give the token, or you can say your username, password information to your app server. App server will store like cache A, B, C, D. All 4 users are saved here, right? In this condition, whenever next time user will hit same, so app server doesn't go to your DB, right? It will keep the connection here and start serving the traffic from here itself, instead of going again with the same process, right? So this will come in your the stateful. Okay. Now, what is stateless is it will be part of, it's a similar process, guys, but little bit different. Means in same condition, same architecture, you have your DB and your app server, and user is hitting the request, same. But in this condition, your app server and DB always connected in a private, and database will only authorize the request in each time, right? Whenever request comes, it will authorize, then it will, like you can say, drop the packet or something. One time activity only. After that, whenever it will come, again, user has to be through the app server and get the authentication, right? So this will be your stateless, where you are not maintaining anything on the app server. Everything will be going to take care on your DB level only, right? So this is something which we are looking for more into security for the purpose of us, like you can say, your private and public connectivity between that, right? So you have private subnet and you have public subnet available. The same thing which we are looking for into our VPC currently in this practical. So if I will say select, I can see now, guys, here, it is going to create for me 2 subnet. See this one. So guys, yesterday, you remember we have created 2 subnets. One is public. How to identify public? You can go to route table. If that is added with 000, then only it is available with the IGW and it can access the traffic through. If it is added with the netting and not the 00, like the traffic with IGW, that will be a private. Now we can identify, guys, just with the practical also. Same thing we did yesterday, one automatic and one manual. Same thing we are doing today, both are automatically. Okay. Now see, this is your private subnet and this will be your public subnet. So let's go with it. Create the VPC. Oh, let me give the name so that I can actually clean out the stuff after that. Okay. Right, so one public and one private, same thing we are going with it, that's fine. I don't have to change anything. So, okay, right. So it will ask you to provide the EIP. So I'm giving my Elastic IP, okay, which I'm looking for, create. And always see, guys, net gateway rate supply. So this will give you the, and why netting required, guys? You remember, we just created a paint, right? Netting is only required between private subnet to get the connectivity. Else your public subnet already having the by default. So once we'll create, guys, I'll just try to relate the yesterday stuff. So that will be more useful and understandable here. Okay. Why it is taking time is because, guys, it is setting up the net gateway as well. So net gateway take little bit time. So just wait for that,
Yeah, Dev.
and we'll see. Yeah, please.
That means this NAT will convert the private network to the public network, like our home router. It's having the private IP and it converts the NAT like that.
See, netting is not converting actually. Netting is just a network associated transmission.
Yeah.
Means your private network, yeah, your private network is actually requires the internet connectivity or to send some packet out. So net gateway is a bridge between that. That's it.
Okay. Got it.
All right. So we are okay now. Now let me show you what exactly we have done here. So testing gateway, let's select, or let me reload the page. So that I will select actually that only one and I'll show you the differences. Or you can see the meet requirement. Okay. So we are okay testing. And now guys, if I'll show you the route table. So here you will see one routing has been added guys with the IGW. So guys, IGW is Internet Gateway, which is by default added by AWS for public subnet. Other one is netting guys, which we did. See, same thing we did yesterday, but the process was manual to just understand you better. Okay, simple. This is the main difference which we are always referring for public and private subnetting while we doing. Now, let's discuss about other connections, right? Peering connections, guys, we already checked yesterday, last one. Now go to NECLs. So what is the NECLs, guys? NECLs is a network ACL. Network ACL is a kind of, advanced level firewall, which we are getting other than the security group. So guys, one is security group, which we are referring for the logical firewall restriction. Like you want to allow your port 80 from any specific location, or you want to allow port SSH like port 22 to access SSH from your laptop only or from on-premises only, then security group will be there. But if you're looking for something is kind of, guys, I want to exclude, right? Like let's say I have some IP address, okay, which I'm looking for a kind of like, let's say 101. So this will guys doing the inheritance in a rule. Like let's say I want to block only SSH point 22 from any specific IP you got, right? Maybe some country level or maybe some example here. A lot of time guys, it is happening, you are getting multiple hits from a particular IP from particular country, then you can block exactly from here as well. So in that case, if you have allowed your SSH from several IP address, this is not going to be overwritten, right? Or you can apply either 000 from SSH also from a security group. That is not going to be allowed, because from on top on the VPC level, you are using the this NECL rule. That is the main benefit of this, right? 106 like this only, simple. What you are looking for, deny or allow, you can define here. Now what is mean of it? I want to allow this port, I want to deny port 22 from this IP only. So this IP, if someone guys add by mistaken in security group as well, that's not gonna to work. Because try to understand, right? There are two types of like restriction, which we are always following to meet the security best practices. One will be your like you have a network. Inside network you have EC2, you have multiple servers are running, and guys, each service having security group. So in this security group, you are going to restrict something which is going to like you can say allow on your both instance. This is one. Now another one, you are looking extra security, which is on top of that. This will be your VPC. Means you are allowing on VPC level, you are going to restrict something here. So guys, this will automatically get the overwritten here in case someone going to be allow or someone going to restrict. So whatever rule is written here, that is the going to all the time overwritten on all the environment. That is why NACL is a super kind of easy step to making a security thing here. Okay, I hope guys this will be clear. So NACL always use when you are actually requirement, else you can manage the things with your what we can say the was that the security group as well. You can manage the restriction from a security group as well. But if you really want to be restrict something excluded, then you can able to manage from here, right? So NACL is going to be allow the things on subnetting level, right? If you allow or deny something here, that is going to be applied on your each VPC or each subnet. It's up to you. Now guys, another one is security group here, which we just discussed like this. Which we generally using, right, for inbound and outbound traffic rule management, which we generally referring. Now another is you have a customer gateway, right? So because if you guys are looking for a VPN tunneling, then customer gateway will be get applied according to that, right? So how to create a customer gateway? That will be guys your something requirement we have to gather from the customer first to creation a VPN tunnel. Now guys, what is VPN tunnel? Is a virtual private network between your on-premises, or you can say my laptop, to cloud. So if anyone will come from outside as well, not gonna to access the things from there. Okay, guys, am I audible clearly? I don't know, I'm getting my voice back sometimes.
Yeah, it's clear there.
It is good.
Okay, super. Thank you. Now guys, let's say our first requirement, I am going to ask my customer, hey, provide me your IP address. So IP address will be, guys, that will be a public IP, right? In my case, I don't have any router, I don't have any network switches here, so I'm just using for testing here my public IP of my internet. That's it. So let's assume I got the IP address from customer. I can give here testing private connectivity. Yes, static IP address. So I can give here, that will be my static IP address. Certificate ARN I don't have, and device name you can able to give, right? Up to you. If you kind of the name of device, maybe that will be Juniper firewall, or that will be Sonic firewall, that will be F5, any could be, right? So you can ask. So let's say we are looking for Sonic firewall. Create customer gateway means your first step done, where you got the IP address from customer. So means you are going to establish a connection at your Amazon level. Okay. Once again, yeah, let's leave those. Yeah. Now my gateway is done. Now guys, you will create another virtual private gateway. Virtual private, why require, guys? Because you one side gate you have given to AWS. Hey, this will be your customer where you receive the packet. Now where you going to receive the packet? Like your destination will be cloud here, right? So I can create my another gateway from AWS ANS, right? So always, guys, be going with the like Amazon default ASN. It's kind of routing protocol which they are using. If customer gives you any customized like device number or customized compatibility framework, then only choose this. Else we are good. Okay. So I can create this now. Now my virtual gateway has been created. Now AWS will ask you, guys, you have created virtual gateway inside AWS. Now after this entry, where you want to land the traffic, right? Means you should provide some address. So in our case, guys, we can say send all traffic to my testing lab VPC. Means you are allowing your VPC to your physical data center. Yes, attach here. Then simple, just wait for a minute. It will be going to attach the network. Now go to site-to-site VPN connection meanwhile and create VPN connection. So whatever information guys we have created, just it will just based on that the configuration further. So I can give here a name, testing VPN, and yes, it's on virtual private gateway. I'll tell you guys what exactly transit gateway. This is latest function launched by AWS. It's a feature in VPN tunneling. I'll exactly let you know what exactly this is. So now I give the name, and which will be my virtual private gateway means one-side entry from AWS you are providing here. Now customer new or existing? Customer gateway, yes, we have existing because I already created, right? So you can give IP address, this one guys, which I have given my IP address for the process. So I'm okay with it because we don't have any like the real time. So we are okay with it. Now BGP routing is always required, guys. It's a dynamic, means the routing option, you are going to get a high availability there. If you go with static, means you have to like provide a specific IP address. But with the BGP routing, you're making, if customer gateway is coming from the physical data center IP address, that will be going to accept or not. Or also inside the tunnel, you can guys define a like your kind of CIDR values. Means let's say customer is saying, hey, 10.16.0.0/16, my this IP address range should be excluded, right? Or you can say the randomly give the more IP address, which you can able to get for a tunneling like authorization. So you can define multiple IP address according to the customer response. But we are okay with here, like we are doing just a basic testing, so we should be fine with it. Cool. And we are going with the like use default option because I'm not going to add it the tunnel option with the basic. Again, it's a part of your chargeable basis. So create VPN connection just on a basic understanding and concept which we are referring here. If you see like this, just wait for a second. So it will create here. And this will be your the client VPN endpoint where you can able to do the connection between based on your ARN certificate as well, right? For you can same thing define with the VPC and all. So just wait for that. It is creating actually background the services for you so that it will be done. Now guys, while this is going to create in the background with the process, you have option. You can go and download the configuration. Why configuration is required, guys? Because if you click on download configuration, you can ask customer to provide you the router information, like the network firewall customer carrying currently. It's a Barracuda, Checkpoint, Cisco, F5, Fortinet, or whichever, right? The name will be available. In case, guys, any model is not going to be compatible listing here, then you are fine to go with generic and download that and provide to the customer. Okay. So let's say we are looking the Fortinet here. Then you can define a series 40 plus and the OS information, GUI or whichever, right? Simple, download the configuration. So see, guys, I got this text file, which is going to carry my complete information about the about the switches and end-to-end point. See, your VPN connection, I did this, and customer gateway. Customer gateway is customer side, and we virtual private gateways from AWS side. Means this will be your sender and this will be your receiver, right? So this will be guys for your both tunnel must be configured on your customer gateway. Means if you have done your AWS part now, being in the architect level. Next, you are going to provide this internet key exchange configuration. From here, guys, if you see IPsec tunnel 1 already carrying the key information and your VPN information, customer gateway, IP addressing, and the virtual gateway information, pre-shared key. Even see this one. This is the pre-shared key which will authorize the request from coming customer side. Now, all the information, IPsec2 configuration is going to give you the phase 1 information and the key, right? The key life 300 3600 seconds. All the informations are, guys, clearly mentioned. Means if you will provide this configuration file to your customer, so network guy will not going to ask you any further question, because he can get every information required to configure VPN from customer end to AWS connectivity. Everything is available here, and that is quite enough to sharing this configuration file. Simple. Provide this configuration file, customer will configure the process. Then you will see here, guys, the tunnel status. Tunnel status 1 is currently down because we don't have anything sender or receiver, right, from the customer side. We are using just a temporary IP. So this will down for us. But in the real-time case, guys, after that, after few minutes, once the configuration done, your IPsec will be up. And when that will be up, you can able to do the private connection between your physical data center to AWS. This is very easy option to go with the dedicated tunneling, which is always required. Okay. I hope, guys, this is clear. Let me know if you're good. I'm going to terminate everything, whichever I have created, just to avoid the charges. Let me know, please, before termination. All right, super. I'm not waiting, guys, to create completely, but it's good. We should understand the process, so that will be going to help out whenever we're dealing with the real-time customer, at least. Or this process, guys, always comes in interview. A lot of time I face define the process to creation of VPN tunnel dedicatedly. What are the things? What are the challenges required? And if the model is not listed, then how you're going to proceed? How you can troubleshoot the problem with customer to get IPsec tunnel up. Right, this will take a little bit time, guys. So meanwhile, let me also delete my VPC, because that VPC is carrying information of the netting. So netting is actually per hour basis chargeable, because it's create like the background instance for us. Plus, it also creating a information which is part of. 1 second. Let me delete. I have to release this IP address also, guys. As I remember yesterday, right? So if you're using Elastic IP address, that is absolutely free. If you're not using, better to release instead of keeping that sitting idle in your account. So that will be more chargeable. I'll check it out just later after this sometime, why it is not removing from here. But meanwhile, let me terminate the VPC for us. VPC is actually absolutely free, guys. Only the netting gateway and the VPN tunnel which we have created, that will be chargeable. Okay, so once this will delete, actually, this will allow me. So we'll wait, and meanwhile, let's discuss the other options. What are these? So, guys, apart from this, AWS has launching this transit gateway. Now, what is transit gateway, guys? Transit gateway is a benefit to connect your thousands of VPC with a centralized location. Means you can use transit gateway or like the transit kind of centralized point, so that if you have multiple VPCs or a multiple account can manage a traffic centrally, right? That is the benefit of transit gateway. Again, it's a chargeable, but this is very cool option to like the provide you the communication between your multiple VPC from the centralized location. So there are same process, guys, which we just did the process. Same, you can define a name and give the description why. So, and after that, this will be default value Amazon Side ASN, which we are going to refer, right? So, and after that, see, DNS support means DNS communication, VPC, VPN ECMP support, default route escalation. Generally, you know, these association and it is required. Multicast is only required, guys, when you are looking for a broadcasting, right, between the multiple accounts, then only. But again, it's extra chargeable, so based on that, we can able to use the thing. And see, configure sharing option for cross account. If you're dealing with the multiple accounts as well, then always go with the option. Once you create your transit gateway will be created, and after that you can go and manage your gateway attachment. Means which VPC you are looking for. See, I don't have actually, but here you can select your VPC. Means which VPC you are allowing with your transit gateway connection. Even behind the VPC, which subnet you are looking for. I want to get a connectivity between private to my outsider VPC. That also you can define with a thousands of VPC connection. Okay, so that is a good option available with the attachment. The routing table, guys, again, it's the same process. You can go and add the route according to the availability you have, like which only excluded things you want to allow, you can able to manage from here. Multicast, again, guys, it's a part of, you can create a multicast gateway with available, right? And the creation a part of your, let's say, abc.com, or you have something you want to broadcast between your multiple VPCs within AWS only, you can able to manage. Network manager is again very good option available, guys. This will, again, it's a part of managed services, where you can able to manage your on-premises plus AWS network. Means this will give you a centralized dashboard where once you configure, it will just ask you to provide a confirmation from physical data center to AWS cloud, whatever the network things you have available, all the topologies changes, like routing, right, like matrix, like events happening, network down, everything you can able to get on the status on the dashboard. That will be your network manager. This is again very good function inbuilt in AWS Transit Gateway. Mirror session is something, guys, you can have your complete the part of like you can say traffic mirroring, what exactly going on with the resources and what are the target and what are the failing packet length optional, right? And your filter, you can define information. So this will give you the complete filtration on a dashboard basis, right? So that you can able to create and you can manage your targets and filters. Means it's a part of, again, traffic mirroring between that. Like, let me give you more example what exactly this is. Because I haven't tried, but I like this option, very nice, available with AWS launching recently. So means let's say you have one EC2 instance running with some configuration, so you can able to manage a complete image, right? It's a part of cloning, right? VPC feature that you can copy network traffic from Elastic Network Interface. right? So this will give you your the part of troubleshooting. Troubleshooting again, same with VPC flow logs. You can able to see that the real-time traffic and where exactly it's the failing. But this will give you more on UDP listener C, network load balancer, and your traffic mirroring sports, right? Filters, packets, truncation. So there are very good options available which we can able to use for the from the console itself, right? For the traffic mirroring option. So this is really a very nice option, and like it's a part of again managed services. You don't have to do anything, and it's a part of just kind of going to capture your all the traffic. Like Elastic means it's again static network interface. So that will be give you from the user space, from your console side. Right. So meanwhile, let's take a look guys other options. So same thing guys, instead of creation from the wizard, you have very nice option available. You can go here in VPC and create a VPC, and you can either create with a manual as well, right? With the CIDR values providing. As we are using the wizard will give us all the options available. So guys, this will ask me to delete all the VPN plus network gateways and internet gateways, whatever things we have created, that is going to be clean out. Just make sure guys, everything should be deleted. And your Elastic IP should be released, because that Elastic IP is going to be chargeable in a process, okay? So I think I have one available. Let me reload the window. So always remember to release IP address if you are not using, right? So I can release this IP address, public Elastic. So this will be yeah.
Hey Dave, I have one question.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so when you create the NAT gateway, it will assign the Elastic IP automatically. But when you release the NAT gateway, when you delete the NAT gateway, why it doesn't release the?
No. Very first, it's not getting automatically. It's only assigning automatically when you already have Elastic IP address sitting idle in your account. Then only it will pick automatically. Else, it will ask you to create Elastic IP address first and then do the process.
Oh, okay, I understand.
Yeah.
Right, thanks.
Yeah. All right, so I think we're good. I have deleted everything, which will be a more on chargeables, guys. So guys, please try to focus more on the VPN tunneling, right? Which will be your customer gateway and why it is required, what exactly the requirement. And in case things are not clear, please go through with more documentation and the videos available. So that will give more idea and about with the more different concepts, which we'll do. Okay. And the other coming lab practice also, guys, will do the kind of communication between our private database to public app server. So that will be also give you more clearance according to the process, why it is going to be on that, and how to go with the further process. All right, guys, I believe we are good, right? I'm not going to start another topic because that will be a kind of IAM, more on the security side, this one. If possible, guys, before coming tomorrow, try to get basic information about this. What exactly identity access management? It is more on security, guys, and very important topic for the corporate customer or a banking customer, whichever is going to be hosted on AWS. These things are going to be always comes in best practices. We referring always, okay? Super. So please go through with video and let me know, guys, in case from the previous as well, I really like to go with the more further clarification. And if you guys have query concerns, you can comment and let me know anytime. Okay. And guys, also I'm planning to maybe if I'll get chance on Saturday, Sunday. So I can try to arrange a 1-hour session, maybe any one of days, Saturday or Sunday. So you guys can come up with your more queries, okay? But before that, make sure you guys should have a clarity with the previous topics, and you should be able to watch continuously. So that is why, you know, more queries can come and we can utilize that time. And that will be more helpful. Okay, but before that, I'll check my schedule and I'll update Vinay. So he's going to be help out with the availability. And then based on that, we'll connect, meet on weekend. All right, guys, are we good now?
Yeah, I'm good.
Superb. Okay, guys, then bye. Have a great rest of the day to you, and have a great time. Let's catch you on Monday. Between that, in case Saturday, Sunday is good for you, just choose the time and you will get a notification from the team. Just try to give the availability and we'll meet accordingly.
Okay.
All right, guys, bye-bye. Thank you so much for your time. Let's catch you on Monday. Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Thanks. Bye.